It's time for Who Watch, time and relative blackness in space.
The box.
Hi everyone, it's Bayana, Connie, and Robin coming to you live from the Time Vortex.
Today we're discussing episode 5 of Doctor Who season 10, Oxygen. In this episode, the Doctor suffers a permanent life change, Bill dies twice, and Nardole is an annoying nag as usual.
I'm glad that we're allowed to be annoyed with him. Anyway, we can go in order, but I'm glad that we're allowed.
So we're just jumping into thoughts. We're just going to dive right into thoughts. I couldn't stop thinking about Bayana when it was clear that Nardole was coming on this adventure.
Ugh.
And I wanted to be in the room with her because I just wanted, I could see her face, her just why face? Ugh, why is he here? And I think it kind of colored how I watched the episode. Because I was just, imagining this recording and getting Bayana's over it feels.
I just don't care about him.
It's like, Robin's not going to have fun. Robin's not going to have fun at all.
No. I'm not having fun at all season 10. And actually in my notes, I was like, enough of the scary shit. Can we go have fun?
What's the last fun Doctor Who episode?
Yeah, that's my question. Is what episode do you think was fun from the last several seasons? I feel like it hasn't been since...
It hasn't been since Smith. It hasn't been since My Doctor.
Because I was going to say, I would say the Doctor's Wife was fun, half of it. The other half with House chasing Amy and Rory wasn't that fun. So,
Well, I was going to say that the Robin Hood episode was fun. I thought it was a dumb episode and it didn't really fit with the season. But, it was a nice throwaway episode. It's completely forgettable.
Right.
Which may not be a good thing in, the long term, but it was, it was light.
The Shakespeare Code was fun.
I wrote something, plug. Yeah. But the Shakespeare Code was... No, we've had more fun since the Shakespeare Code.
I would hope so.
Come on now.
That was... a bajillion years ago.
The entire 11th hour, I think, was fun.
Yeah.
But I was gonna, plug into, something that I wrote on Black Girls Crate is about the librarians, that show on TNT, and it's very Doctor Who-like, but it is so lightweight. They try to have, a little bit of edge, but they know it's so fluffy and enjoyable. And I just was watching this episode of Doctor Who, and, I like the librarians because I like Doctor Who, and it's definitely, a second-tier type of show. But as I was watching it, I was like, can I go watch that show? The welfare Doctor Who show? Can I go watch that one? Because at least they know how to have fun. Zombies in space with robots?
This one was definitely less fun, but overall, I've enjoyed the funness, but I couldn't help but think about this one's really not fun. Robin's gonna hate this. So it starts off with one of your favorite things, Star Trek.
Oh yes, Space: The Final Frontier. I've been binging. I've been sick, and I've been binging Death in Paradise on Netflix, and this episode opened up, and I was like, Star Trek. I should go watch Star Trek. Star Trek is fun. Star Trek is fun.
No space zombies on Star Trek?
This wasn't fun. Star Trek is fun.
You're right.
Space zombie robots.
Robots, yeah. They were also robots. I didn't realize they would also be robots. At that point, I was like, you're taking it a little too far. This is a lot. Y'all didn't have to do that.
I was reading a bunch of articles about the episode, posts, recaps and stuff. to like prepare my notes and stuff, and someone was like, the writer, whose name I forget right now, sorry, was tasked by Stephen Moffat to make space scary again. I guess because a lot of the episodes where they've been in like regular deep space and not like on a planet, they haven't been that scary in a long time. So I guess he really was just like, okay, how do I make this scary? Well, there's space. Zombies are scary. Robots are scary. What if I did them all at once?
Right. And I quarrel with we haven't had a scary deep space episode. I don't think a lot of their deep space episodes have been as good. Because someone wrote about like Satan's Pit.
Correct.
I don't think that was a good episode, but it wasn't not scary.
But I think that's the thing is like Satan's Pit was season 2. Like the other like space episodes, I feel like, and maybe season 3 had 42, but a lot of the time it's like we're in space and like there's some other shit happening, but oxygen and like space is never the thing that's scary. It's just like it's a thing that's set in space. You know what I mean? Like even The Girl in the Fireplace was set in space and France. Like it wasn't really like space wasn't a character or like a issue or like a
usually
component,
it's like the ship that they're on, or 42 is what, the black hole. Getting sucked into a black hole.
42 was the sun. Satan Pit was the black hole.
Whatever, they both had like the earth, the planet is alive and the devil or whatever.
And the black hole, and the ooze.
But that's not to say that just because you did it badly doesn't mean that you haven't done it. And so, okay, great, you did it well this time, but no thank you.
They didn't say they hadn't done it. They said they hadn't done it in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably said again, not ever.
I thought you were saying we haven't made space scary.
Like in several seasons.
So, in a while, That's what I'm saying. I thought you were like, they haven't made space scary, full stop. And I'm like,
oh no, that's not true.
Right. What show you watching, Moffat?
I mean, Satan is scary. It was ridiculous, but it was scary.
It's not on my rewatch list, but it was scary.
But it was scary. This one was really good, though. And I also want to point out, since we're talking about, like, episodes, I think that, like, this one, so it was a better Satan Pit. It was also a better Sleep No More, I think.
Bar,
and I feel like I bring this up, like, I know, and I was right about to say that.
You need to sit down and work out your Sleep No More feelings, because...
No, so I was gonna say, like, I definitely bring that up a lot, but the anti-capitalism, that was the last episode that they brought up, like, and like they were trying to be like really explicitly anti-capitalist, because in that one they were like selling sleep, in this one they're selling oxygen, but this one was done way better. Okay,
we're gonna start like telling your like Sleep No More.
Go ahead. I was really disappointed by that episode, and it was boring, and I almost fell asleep. It's the first and only Doctor Who episode that I've ever almost
Which is funny, because Sleep No More, you slept a lot. I think Professor Doctor, Professor Doctor is back and great until he makes a skull on the chalkboard, but I feel like that like one, he's so like missing space that it comes out like he's supposed to be lecturing about crop rotations, and all of a sudden we're talking about the nature of space and why it's so great, like I get that. Like I have this thing on my, like when you have like some Real Housewives of Atlanta, like why am I talking about that show? I don't watch that show. All of a sudden, this reunion, and all I can do is think about that show and want to talk about that show. And I'll bring it up in Tarbis. And it had nothing to do with this. Like, and I think that, like, I get that being, like, kind of obsessive or, like, missing something to the point where you just, like, slide it into conversation.
It's like, oh yeah, and then on this episode of Doctor Who, it's like, but we were talking about something completely different. It's like, it's like a thing nerds do, where it's like we just can't help because we're still like thinking about this one thing, and we just cannot help but Or you're like in a conversation and you're thinking about this thing, and you know that it has nothing to do with the conversation, so you're just quiet because you're like, if I open my mouth, I am going to talk about this thing, and it has nothing to do with it, so I'm just going to watch y'all talk. Thanks. Yeah.
But if you're the doctor, you just lecture an entire class about it, and they have to deal.
Right. I was at work, and I was like, we had like this big event, and I kept seeing this name of this school, and I eventually had to say something, and I was like sitting next to my coworker, and I was like, every time I see this school, I think of Doctor Who, and she was like, why? I was like, because it looks like Torchwood, and I know it's not Torchwood, but it looks like Torchwood, so now I just want to go watch Doctor Who.
Okay.
He's like,
that's what I always tell people,
right.
like, I think in Potter, because, like, I'll be at work, and, like, no one else understands Harry Potter, but, you know, like, you have to explain things in, like, metaphors sometimes, and I'm like, so, like, in Harry Potter, which you guys don't understand, but this is how I'm going to explain this thing to you.
They're like, please stop.
And they're like, okay. I'm like, my brain thinks in Potter. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. But, yeah, I also love that he made a skull, because it was like, oh, in case you were not clear from our next week on Doctor Who when we told you about the zombies in space, this is going to be a scary episode because the Doctor is subconsciously drawing skulls on the freaking chalkboard. Like, and then Bill, and this is in my Bill fills, but he tells Bill to pick a place, and she picks a nice place and it's blue. Like, let's go there. And he's like, nah, man, distress signal. Let's go there. Let's do that one.
He did.
And it's
he
like,
totally did.
Biona's favorite gift.
Dude.
Congratulations. You played yourself. Because as we will get to, by the end of this episode,
so hard.
Don't you wish you would have went with where Bill wanted to go, Doctor?
But also who played himself was Nardole, who we can talk about how much everyone dislikes Nardole because
he definitely played himself though.
Right.
Like, how are you trying to stop the Doctor from leaving the planet, but then you're on the TARDIS and then you stay on the TARDIS. So now nobody's guarding the vault.
Did the job.
Great job.
He was terrible at doing his job. Like, you should only have conversations with the Doctor on the other side of the doors of the TARDIS. Be like, you should come out this way, but oh, you accidentally left? Great. Now I am still here guarding the vault. But he was just like, oh, this is the thing that you need in order to fly the TARDIS. And the Doctor's like, and who told you that? You did. Yeah. So about that.
Which was
just
so,
like,
such
he
a
doesn't
Robin
know
thing
that
to
rule
do.
number 1 is the Doctor lies.
But this is what at a couple of points in the episode, the Doctor mentions how he, like, Nardole's terrible at his job, and he's like, this is Nardole's job. He was like, I pay you too much or you don't get paid enough. I don't know what that payment is. Maybe it's Mexican food. I don't know. But does he need to eat? Isn't he a robot? But he needs oxygen? It's all very confusing.
Questions that need answers.
But, so the Doctor is paying Nardole to do this job, and also sabotages Nardole by giving him false information so he can't do the job completely because he knows he's going to do what he wants to do. And if that isn't me, I will tie myself in circles. Also, at the end of the day, I do what I feel like. I will explain it away in some fashion because I know I don't really have any money, but if I actually do this and I spend this now, then later I won't spend more money because I'll have done this thing and it'll make me feel better, even though I said that last time, but this time is different because of this reason I said right here, so therefore I'm going to do the thing that I want to do or buy the thing that I want to buy. Absolutely. Yeah, the Doctor is me. Or the Doctor is all of us, I guess.
And it's just, for me, it kind of really points out why the Doctor needs a human, because there's something Nardole isn't, like paying attention to in terms of the Doctor's wanderlust and, like, trying to rein that in, because I feel like any other companion that we've met would have known that that one feature does not run the TARDIS. Like, I feel like there's something that they would have known, or like you just have to work around knowing that he's the Doctor and that he's gonna want to like leave the planet. Like, everybody knows this. Like, I understand Nardole trying to like keep him in check because it is his job and like nagging about it, but the way he's going about it is just such the wrong way, because the Doctor's going to play you and like fly off anyway.
There's also something about Nardole's nagging that I feel like it makes the Doctor want to leave even more.
Right, that's what I was gonna say, is the way that he
he's poking at him.
Mm-hmm. The way that he, like, the Doctor is very much contrarian, and like, he fucking stole a TARDIS and ran away from Gallifrey for like how many years at this point? Like, he doesn't like authority, so if you come at him like, no, you must never leave, you told me you must never leave, he's like, well, who the fuck am I? Like, why am I telling you shit? I'm about to go. Like, no, you have to come at him like, hey, Doctor, by the way, maybe you want to do this thing? Like, you have to just come at him in a different way. You can't come at him with, like, authority, because he's like, well, nah.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what I think, like, a human, like Connie was saying, would distract him you have to distract him with another mystery on planet. Which is what Nardole said last fucking episode. Look at this. You can get in trouble and find things that want to kill you right here. So Nardole should have been like, I know you miss space, but did you hear about the whole thing about black people getting killed by the police? Let's go check that out. Let's go solve that problem.
If only. The Doctor's been stuck.
Throwing out a mystery.
The Doctor's been stuck on planet before. The Doctor's been stuck on planet before, and it hasn't been like, he's been clearly like, oh, this is how time works for humans.
He's
in
really
order.
not
I don't
good
like
at that.
this. He's not good at it, but like, he's done it before for, I don't know if it's been as long as he's been doing it this time, but he's definitely done it before and handled it. And then there was a mystery on planet he was able to solve, whatever.
I mean, he did it on Christmas, been able to do it before, which let's not bring up, but you know, he 1,000 years in real time on the planet Christmas. So.
Oh, I thought you meant the River Christmas. Where
I mean, but he was fighting. I know, me too. But he was fighting aliens though, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, he had things to do.
But a majority of his fighting was, I'm going to sit here as protector. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't day in and day out. It wasn't
like nearly as interesting as Earth, because we know he loves Earth. So it wasn't nearly as interesting.
Right. Mm-hmm. He was like sitting in a little old attic making toys or whatever he was doing. Like,
right. He was Santa Claus.
Father Christmas. Santa Claus. But yeah, I just think like you have to, like you said, like, Nardole is so bad because, one, you come at him with authority, which anyone who knows the Doctor for a second knows he's not going to respond well to. And then, two, you don't make a counter argument besides, you need to stay on planet and watch this door. Like, distract him.
Right. There's something about him being a robot that means that he's not connecting. He's not connecting to the emotional side of why the Doctor wants to leave. And so I think that's where the disconnect is that a human would understand how to appeal to him emotionally and to deal with the emotions, but Nardole's he's a robot, so he doesn't have those, I assume he does not have those same feelings and ways of understanding, like, the mind.
Well, he's a cyborg.
Robot.
Well, I think he's a cyborg. He's not a robot.
He's one of them.
Are we sure?
Because he has to breathe.
He apparently has to breathe.
Well, because he needed the oxygen. So
yeah, and I was confused about that too, because I thought that they were. I feel like they've been saying he's a robot, but then he needed oxygen, and I was like, because when Bill's thing didn't work, I was like, so why doesn't Nardole give?
Right. And also
why do you need it?
Said that he was like on the run and he's changed faces, and I was very confused about that too. Of like, okay, so
yeah.
And was this before or after the Christmas episode where we met you? What they really just need to explain. And actually that line where
or they don't, or not.
But I was like, we don't need more Nardole.
I don't care about him.
I had a random thought though, because I was
but it is a mystery.
I was like, oh, he said he got that face, and I was like, is he a secret Time Lord? But I doubt that that's what it is. But I'm just gonna
don't do that.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. just in case he's somehow a
I would be
secret Time
pissed.
Lord later.
That can't be it. That's not it.
Okay.
I'm saying no.
He probably just
Don't
got a
do
new
that.
head or
Just
something.
throwing it out there for the
Yeah, he
universe
just got-
to hear. Just in case.
He just got some of that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. robot, whatever. Also, I know this isn't S.H.I.E.L.D. Watch, but how do they have that much, like, robot material lying around? They just be making robots. Just coming out of nowhere. Like, don't y'all have to go restock? You got Amazon Prime for the synthetic? I don't understand.
Ooh.
18 of y'all just running around.
Transition. So they do have Amazon
Who
Prime
watch?
in space at this space station where the doctor,
Hey.
where the Doctor, Nardole, and Bill land, because we are not even at the space part of the episode yet. So I feel like we should fly up there.
Yeah. That space station was lit, though. That's like the space stations that I see in my dreams.
You see space stations in your dreams?
Just so. I do. You don't?
No.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, I have this story in my head that you both know a little bit about, so I see space stations
That
in
you
my
should
dreams.
write. You know what I mean? Interesting. Tell me more about this story
Nah, it's all right.
and where you are.
Writing is
completing
hard.
It.
Oh yeah.
Who ain't that the truth? Okay.
Anyway.
What were you saying, Connie?
So they arrive at the space station.
Amazon
and
Prime in space.
Amazon Prime in space, except the Doctor don't got Amazon Prime for his sonic screwdriver. I'm upset, guys. Last knew Sonic, we hardly knew ye. He broke it already. It's been 5 episodes. Or 6. I don't remember if he had it during Christmas. But we just got this Sonic. I don't want the sunglasses to be back.
Yeah, they want us to buy new stuff. For an episode about anti-capitalism, they were like, what we are going to do,
Right.
though,
Right?
is set up a new toy
And we can talk
to
about
merchandise.
the reason why he now has these glasses
Right,
on
yeah,
or whatever the
I
fuck,
know.
but like,
But
no.
he also could
y'all
have
are
had
really
a
just
Sonic
trying to
back.
make fetch happen, and I like, why? Where's?
I
hope he makes a new
aren't
screwdriver
Sonic
in the
sunglasses,
next
are they?
episode. They look the
They look
same.
the same. I think that they won't
I hope
probably
they're not. I hope they're just
like in the
regular.
same way.
Sonic sunglasses were burnt. Like,
Right.
we did vote on that. Everyone voted, and we were like, no, thank you.
And they
There
All
was
I
a
know
poll.
is if
We
next
all spoke
episode he
loudly.
touches it and it makes a noise,
Oh. Yeah, I missed that part. I saw that he
I'ma
was
be
wearing
mad.
them in
No,
the episode.
it didn't happen. But like, it better not. They looked very similar, so that's why I wasn't sure.
But that was the problem with them anyway.
I think they just like Capaldi
Yeah.
sunglasses. So I think that I don't think
Like,
that
that's
they'll
real.
quite go the same route of them, and I understand why he has them. But it's just interesting that they also broke the Sonic the same episode. So
Right.
we'll see what
But
we'll see
hasn't
what they
the
do.
Sonic kind of broken before, and he's just like put it in the TARDIS and got a new, like, fixed it and got a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't see it
It just
happen.
pops out of that
So
thing.
until it happens, he doesn't have a Sonic.
Well, cause yeah.
'Cause he's yeah.
All right, so they land on the space station,
Mhm.
and we see. Well, we open with seeing our first zombies before we see him lecturing, even.
Yeah.
But then there's the 36 out of 40 people on the station have died. So there's
Terrifying.
4 people that they have to go find. And that was the other weird thing, was that it was completely understandable to me that Bill was like, well, we should go. But Nardole was the one that was like, we need to go. We need to go. We need to go. We need to go. And yeah, you want to go back and make sure that the vault's safe, but also, like, it was very cowardly. It felt very, like, cowardly and self-preserving, more than it felt like
I feel like Bill's was
looking out for Bill or looking out for the doctor,
Yeah.
even. And that, again, is like, what are you, cyborg?
because I feel like Bill's was not necessarily like it was self-preservation, but in the smart way of like, okay, there's danger here, we shouldn't be here. And she was like, I'm black, and I know that my people don't be going into messes like this. I don't know about this.
She saw the signs.
She saw the signs, but Nardole's did feel slightly
Opened
different.
up her eyes, she saw the sign.
Yeah, and I think what was cool about this episode too is like and I mean, you know, it plays into like what we were talking about before about this episode not being like fun. But she was scared, like, off top.
Yeah.
Like, there was never a moment where she arrived in space and was like, oh, cool. There was, like, that one moment where she... Oh, I actually do love this. Where she, like, gets off and she's like, why aren't we floating?
Yeah.
And he's like, artificial gravity. And then she just, like, jumps up
She's like,
down, like,
this doesn't feel
gravity.
like space. And then she looks out the window. She's like...
Exactly. And then she looks out the window.
It's like, I
so,
love
like,
you,
we
Bill.
did get, like, a small moment of her, like... kind of, you know, oh, this is so great. And then, like, immediately after that, we see the first zombie robot. So,
I mean, I was down with
we do
even
get, like,
Bill's,
a tiny
like,
bit of it, but I think, like, for the most part, she's just terrified, which is super
legit.
understandable.
It's real.
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified, too. I mean, I was down from the jump when Bill was like, can I see the reviews? Where's Space Yelp?
I forgot to put that in my
You
notes.
don't just go to a restaurant... I want to know how many stars it got.
She wanted Space Yelp, and I was like, I love her.
Right. Right. And it really reminded me of Donna, like, when Donna was like, okay, so I need a vacation, like, when they went to the Planet Midnight, and Donna was like, you go do what you do, but I'm gonna be here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, lounging. In the sauna. Chilling. Yeah, I think it was great to kind of have Bill be terrified from jump, like, all the way through. But I didn't like... I mean, I understood, like, the doctor was saying, you know, there's a distress call, and, like, we... You know, it shows the measure of us how we respond to people who need help. But it felt also like, after the first time Bill's suit wasn't working... It was, like, continuing to put her in unnecessary danger.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess
like,
but
can
after
we
that,
first
there was
go
no
find
way.
her a new suit?
But there was... I feel like they appropriately made it so that after the TARDIS gets locked away, there's a point of no return, and they cannot. Like, the moment where they're like, she needs a new suit, they kept getting, like, attacked and, like, followed, and things kept stopping them from helping her. So I think that it wasn't kind of out of the realm of, well, they could have paused for a minute and found her a new thing. They did try, because there was that moment where one of the other people was, like, fixing her suit or something. So I think they did attempt, and it just kept not working out for poor girl. But before we get to...
Because I was like, don't make Bill Rory. Don't do this to me. No.
They made her Rory in the same episode twice, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah. We'll get that. We want to do our Bill Phils later. But we can talk about Darren and the sort of awkward attempt at race discussion. I don't know how you would categorize it, but I feel like they thought they were going somewhere, and on first blush, it's like, I think I see what you did there. But then when you really think about it, it's like, wait, no, it doesn't work. It falls apart really fast. So, you know, there's the... It's like
the part, you know, the episode, the end of time, when there's those two, they kind of look like, they're the two... I don't want to call them cactus people, but, like, they had all the spikes in their head or whatever. They were super random, and there was no reason for them to be there, but there were, like, these two aliens that were also running around, and somebody called them the same thing as Balacafalata from the Christmas special, and he was like, that's racist, they're this thing, and we're this thing, or whatever, and it was just like, it's not that funny. I just feel like it's one of those things where it's, like, white people trying to make commentary on shit when it's not really, or like trying to make something laughable that's not actually laughable.
Right.
Like, oh look, it's a white person in blue makeup, and now they're the victim of racism. Really?
Racism.
Supposedly.
Okay.
It also kind of just felt like a bad ripoff of the Key and Peele sketch with the names. Like, Darren? No, it's Darren. And like,
Aaron.
He's, you know, like, and then Bill is the one that is the racist because, you know, like, Bill was the one being like, Aaron. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like that, and it was just like, I liked the part where Nardole goes, some of my best friends are bluish, because that is, like, just a red flag of I have black friends, so therefore I can say whatever the hell I want to type of thing.
Right.
Or I have Asian friends or whatever.
He had a mark on racist bingo, so he's got one center square.
Right. But in the overall interaction, that whole scene, it just didn't really work. I knew, and it was also like I knew what they were trying to do.
Yeah, it didn't work as well as the other moments that they'd done in the past few episodes.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that rather than like showing how Bill navigates the world as a black woman and like universe and space, instead they're like, look, up in space in the future, there's a different kind of thing. And it's like, nah, you're still around humans. Like the point where she's like, dude, I'm usually on the receiving end of racism. And he's like, why? And it's like, there's a black woman right here on your crew and you've never seen her experience racism?
Right.
Like, I don't believe.
Are they trying to say that we cured it by then?
In the future, we don't have racism. It's
but we have capitalism,
Star
though?
Trek.
We got capitalism, but we don't got racism? Really?
It's all tied hand in hand.
I would like to see this. When was racism defeated? I would like to see this trajectory because I'm.
And when did racism and capitalism not go hand in hand?
To show you.
Literally since the beginning.
That's
of
what
America.
I'm saying. Like, really? Homegirl doesn't have less. I would not be surprised if Homegirl didn't have less breasts than the rest of them. Like, there's so many things. Like,
didn't she?
He's like, why ever would you?
I only have 300 breasts left, so can we get this show on the road?
Exactly. Like, she don't have. So yeah, it was annoying, and then it also felt a little like, you know, I don't care if you're black.
Literally.
Red, blue, purple.
Literally.
I was just like, no, I don't like
I've literally
this.
gotten emails.
I think that
referred to people being green. It's like, oh, it just showed that we didn't care that it doesn't matter if you're black, white, green. And I'm like, but there are no green people. So I'm going to need you to stop using other colors in the spectrum in your analogy for racism.
That don't exist.
I really am going to need that.
It doesn't matter if you're black, white, or green.
Absolutely. I've gotten an email that said that. Unless
you're black. Because if you're green, you don't exist. So good on ya. Right. But it definitely matters if you're black. It does not. You're right. You're correct, sir. It does not matter if you're green. It doesn't matter a damn bit if you're green. Because you don't exist.
Yeah.
You don't live this life.
Yeah.
And if you do, you need to go to a doctor. But you can't because, wealth care. They cut in Obamacare, so good luck with that one.
Happy place.
If you're green, hope you got good health care. Hope you got employer-sponsored health care because you need to go get that checked out.
Absolutely. But, it was just an awkwardly handled moment. And it's like, I see what you're trying to do.
I think there was definitely a way to talk about race in that moment. Like, if that was what they wanted to do, there was definitely a way to do it. But
at least they could have had, Bill and the homegirl have a moment where it's just like, oh, you're black, how do you deal with it? And she's just like, it's over. That would have also been, weird and, I just feel like they could have handled it and maybe had two black characters talk to each other.
They didn't talk to each other at all.
And I don't think they talked to each other.
And, that's a perfect...
Really
Bill has always been concerned, right? We just had that moment in Thin Ice where she's, talking about her blackness and how that's, a huge factor. Now she moves around in the world, right? And then, there's this black woman in space, and she's not like, oh, shit, you in space, me too. No, there was no moment like that. I know there's, space zombies and shit, but, that's it.
Because at least in Thin Ice...
They did interact at all.
At least in Thin Ice, there was the little black girl, and they, talked. There was, the black Bechdel
But also
test.
that was, this is what I'm talking about, the Star Trek of it all, because that was the past. And so you can't, the past is in his, it exists, and you can't, the future, it's, who knows what's going to happen, right? Though we kind of do know that racism isn't just going to poof, whatever. But that is, a big problem with science fiction shows in general, and this is what I'm talking about with Star Trek. Star Trek just went, hey, if we go far enough in the future, all we have to do is say, we've gotten rid of racism, we've cured poverty, we've cured diseases, there's no classism, and then we can go around white privileging and white-splaining on all these other types of people. How we are so far evolved from that. Like, I love Star Trek, I really do, but it always really bothered me that they would come in with this high moral authority. Meanwhile, the only black person you see is Tuvok or Geordie LaForge, and like the other, and you know, Whoopi Goldberg's character is at the bar. She's a bartender. She ain't doing nothing else, and she's like a magical black woman. But and she wasn't even human. But still, it was like, oh, we have, because it's the future. We fixed it. Don't ask us how. Don't ask any follow-up questions. But it's gone.
Yeah.
But now then the irony of, like...
Now let us continue to...
The irony also...
move in all of that nonsense.
Right. And then the irony of, like, saying that you've moved beyond it, but then, like, that somehow paints you as superior than, like, the people who you're going to colonize. That's still racism.
Right. Well, Star Trek, they don't colonize. That's the whole thing about the Prime Directive. They say, like, oh, you'll get there. It's very patronizing.
Right.
You're like, we've done it. You'll do it, too, you primitives.
Right.
Great.
But we won't help you.
It's like, y'all know that's still racism, right? No? Okay. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. No, but I think that is, like you said, with, like, white writers... I don't even think it's just white writers, too. I think it's, like, something... I mean, most of the stories we hear from white writers, so that's the majority of it, but that handicap of writing about the future is that people don't want to do the work of explaining or dealing with anything, and so they say, oh, it's the future, we fixed it, don't ask us how. We've bypassed that section. We're so far in the future.
Without thinking about, like... there will be after costs. Like, sure, okay, you could say that we fixed racism, but then that means that other systems would have to change. And, like, that there's
Capitalism.
Just, like, they never think about the domino effect that would happen if we actually, like, legitimately fixed racism and sexism or whatever. Because, like, if there was no sexism, there would also be major shifts in the world and, like, new advancements. And I mean, I feel like someone charging someone for oxygen is just very white dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying if there is no sexism or racism, you could not get away with charging people for oxygen.
Right.
Like, we are fighting right now in 2017 about charging people for water.
That ain't clean.
Healthcare.
That ain't clean.
That ain't clean. Right. Whew. They trying to kick people out of their homes for not paying to get poisoned. And we are fighting that in 2017. Mm-hmm. But in the future, we have fixed racism, and we are all okay with getting charged for oxygen per breath.
Not even per minute, per breath.
The thing to help us survive.
Right. The faster you breathe, the faster you die. What?
And how are we making money on this space station so we can re-up our oxygen? We gotta sell cigarettes or something? Like, is this a prison system? I don't understand. How do I need to reload? If it's pay as you go, like, none of that was explained either. Because I kept saying, oh, you running out of air? We'll just use, remember when the doctor had a screwdriver and he gave that homeboy, like, a bunch of 50 billion credits or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
You know? I was like, just give yourself some credits. Re-up. Give them all Sonic. Do.
That's why they shot the screwdriver 5 seconds into landing on the space station. They're like, oh, wait, the Sonic can actually do too much. Zap! I was upset. I'm upset about this.
Get him in front of the keyboard. He a hacker. Hack yourself some more credit. That's the first thing I would be doing.
He tried.
I was like, I don't understand.
Okay.
I don't understand.
So I think we can transition to talking about, like, the blindness. Like, okay, so I think that we're about to see some amazing performances from Peter Capaldi with the Doctor being blind, because he's just already really great.
Some Emmy submission worthy.
BAFTA submissions or something.
BAFTA submission monologues.
Because I hadn't even, like, the reveal of him being blind was really well done in terms of he showed up on the TARDIS and he's like, oh, we're on the TARDIS, but he could just sense that he's home or whatever, because he didn't let anybody know, and he kind of, like, maneuvered around the TARDIS really well, and it was just, like, a really subtly, like, subtle performance. It was just like, you know, he was just like acted from like a deep place. I don't know. But I think that it's going to be very interesting because I don't think that they've done a like significant change like this for the Doctor over a course of many episodes. I can't remember that we have. Besides, like, a regeneration.
The only thing I can think of is the regeneration 2-parter.
But I don't consider that counting because that's, like, that's, like, he regenerates. Like, that's his thing. So I feel like that is different than facing some sort of significant change and having it last. Like, when he lost his hand, it's not like it took till the next episode for his hand to grow back, you know? That he didn't have to, like, go, like, survive something without it. So it's just... Or, like, whenever he was poisoned that time in that episode, Let's Kill Hitler, the poison situation lasted only that episode, you know?
That was a fun episode. Yeah. That was a fun episode.
That was still like 8 seasons ago at this point.
I know. But it was fun. We were talking about fun episodes.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I still think there have been fun episodes since then. I just can't think of any right now because I'm terrified.
Have there been any fun episodes with 12 is really the question.
The only thing I can think of is the Robin Hood one. And it wasn't particularly great. It was fun, but it was too fluffy to, like, matter.
Sure.
There was nothing memorable about it, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I would say, too, that I think how he revealed it to Nardole but didn't reveal it to Bill.
I have a lot of feelings about it.
Was very interesting to me because it's like, he obviously, he cares about his companions very deeply, and he is always, like, willing to sacrifice himself to save them when he can. Like, it's not the first time that he's done something like that. But then, again, it reminded me of last episode when he was really like, don't say grandfather, right? But it did feel very paternal and a little grandfather-y to protect her from knowing that, like, he's still blind, you know?
Right, because it was because of her that he is blind. And so, like...
Right.
I mean, yes and no.
He willingly sacrificed his ability, you know, like, his helmet for her. And so, like, the reason why he's blind is because he did it for her and his, dare I say, love of her. And obviously not in the shippery way, but his love of her, he, like, was just like, I can do this, it's fine. He sacrificed a thing, and now he doesn't want to tell her, and I'm just really curious to see the aftermath of that, because I get why he doesn't want to tell her, but obviously anytime you're like, well, I can't tell them because they're going to be sad about it or upset or whatever, and then you don't tell them for a while, it makes it worse. Spoiler alert.
Always makes it worse.
It always makes it worse. So
the lie
it's going to be interesting to
makes
see.
It worse.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see.
I also know, like, part of it is, I think also part of it is, like, he feels guilty, right? Because, like, he's only she wants to go to some nice place in space, like we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And he drug her out there, and now all of a sudden she got the faulty suit and is going to die of, like, she's going to suffocate out in space. I want to also mention, like, Missy's going to be in the next episode. She's going to figure it out in, like, 2 seconds.
Missy is going to be the person that tells Bill, and it's not going to do it gently at all.
Oh, no.
It's just going to...
Yeah.
Bill is going to be like, just punch Bill in the face with it, and she's going to be stuck like, what? I'm sorry, what? Like, halfway, I feel like the episode will be, like, halfway through, and she'll still be like, I'm sorry, but wait, what now? He's what? Missy's like, blind, bitch. I said blind. I told you that. I told you that in the credits. Missy ain't got no sympathy for nobody.
No.
Ain't got no time for nobody's feelings.
Either.
None.
I'm actually curious to how much she's going to be in it, because apparently it's a sort of 3-parter. So I wonder if they put her in there and she's going to, like, show up at the end or something.
At the end.
And then I wonder, like, because you can't have John Sims show up and not... I would be really pissed if they have them in separate episodes. Like,
we do have a while to go,
sorry,
though.
this has nothing to do with what we're...
I know, we kind of...
That's what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with this part, but I just have to say it now, because, like, one thing that could be interesting is, like, if the Doctor and Missy have to team up to stop the Master, because it's, like, one of those, like, Missy would have foreknowledge, and it would be like, nah, dude, you actually do have to chill, because if you don't chill now, you gonna die, and then I won't be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, something... Like, that would be cool. Or, if, like, this is the official, like, Master's killed and regenerates into Missy, that's also cool.
Yeah. But I have no idea.
That would be
I think
cool.
it's... I feel like there's still a while to go before we get, I think, John.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we're episode 5, so that's usually, 12 episodes?
Yeah, I was like, it's definitely not happening in the next couple episodes. It's just...
We're halfway through the season now.
No.
Which is...
You still got, like, 2 more.
Isn't it 12 episodes?
Well, 13 plus Christmas.
13. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, we are on... Next week is episode 6.
I feel like
that's halfway.
this is the middle, like, arc that's beginning. So I think, like, I read somewhere that it's supposed to be a 3-parter. So the middle... It's interesting to have, like, a few one-off episodes. And then I think we're going to get a mini, like, trilogy thing to be the direct middle of the season. So I think it'll be interesting to see how, like, obviously they gave us the Doctor being blind at the end of this episode as a, like, oh crap, we're, like, gonna have things be more serialized and it's getting real. So I think that the middle is going to really ramp us up towards regeneration, which is gonna be,
Which they teased this time with the blind thing. Like, they definitely were like, he's changed, or like, he had to do a thing, and I was like, oh shit, it's only episode 5, he can't have regenerated yet, but, like, you know what I mean? They're definitely teasing us with it at this point. So, yeah. Anyone, you guys want to get into Bill Fills now?
Yeah. Always.
Yeah, but did we say stop making robots? Stop. Did we...
Oh yeah, that's important. Stop making robots, y'all. There's really no reason for it. We don't need robots. They never end well.
The fact that there's a new Alien coming out, and, like, the main Michael Fassbender plays, like, a robot, and they're doing this whole, like, marketing campaign about meet Walter or Miles or whatever the hell this robot's name is, and he's a synthetic whatever, and it's just bleeding into
Walter
everything. Like, I can't... It's in my Doctor Who. It's in my S.H.I.E.L.D. Now it's on my Twitter timeline for some other movie I'm not going to watch because goddamn robots. And just stop it. Just stop it.
Everyone, I feel like we're in this weird time, like Robin's saying, like, it's rooted into everything. Like, we're in this weird time where robots are kind of everywhere, and I've been seeing, like, way too many, like, articles about folks being on some, like, ooh, look at the ways that we're going to, like, take advantage of the inevitable, like, rise of AI. And I was like, why is it inevitable? Who voted for this?
Because they won't leave it alone.
Who said, okay, now the next step is artificial intelligence? Why? Do we need it? Do we really need it? We don't.
And
let's stop at smartphones.
I feel like all of the smartest minds in the world, like, all of them, have been like, if we keep going... it will end badly for us. And then there are just some fucking Tony Stark-ass motherfuckers out there like, science!
Exactly.
Do it for science! No! Stop it!
No.
And just also, like, can the programs and the pop culture in my life, can y'all talk to each other and say, hey man, so I had this idea about, like, space robot zombies, but I know Robin watches S.H.I.E.L.D., and then the people at S.H.I.E.L.D. will be like, yeah, you might want to hold off on that one, because we're deep into into the robot thing, so, you know, having this over here on Doctor Who is too much for her, so maybe you should wait a season? Could y'all just talk? Could you connect? I just feel like no one is caring about my poor nerves. My poor nerves.
Dude.
It's rude at this point. Like, I can't get away. I can't.
It is rude.
I can't go nowhere.
It's really rude.
All right, Bill Phillips, because stop it. No more robots.
Before you get into your robot fields.
So they really almost I can't even say it. I really almost worried Bill.
Twice.
Not almost.
In the
They
same
did worry
episode.
Bill.
That's what I'm saying.
Did worry
That's what I'm
Bill.
saying. In the same episode, they worried Bill twice in the same episode.
She didn't actually die, though.
Don't
To
do
the point
that.
where I forgot about the first one too.
Don't play.
Like Bill, Connie was like, "Ooh, look, I switched your names." Connie was like, she died twice, and I was like, "Really? What was the first time?" And she was like, "Well, the oxygen part." Oh, right, that did happen.
Right.
Like,
and her face was all turned, and you could see the oxygen coming. You could see her being exposed.
Oh man.
Because you guys
Don't do
watched it,
that.
I think, delayed. I don't know if you watched it on
Don't
the
do
app
that
or
to me.
something that had commercial breaks. But, the commercial breaks were brutal. It was rude. They did it twice. It was just like, oh, and she can't breathe, fade to black. Here's a new Honda Civic. No, don't do that. No, excuse you. Excuse you. And I mean, I wasn't actually afraid of her dying. I wasn't actually afraid of her dying, but I still didn't appreciate that it happened twice. I did not appreciate it. Because I did have a scary moment of I did actually have a moment where I was just like, what if she's not in the rest of it? Because one of the social media accounts for the show was like, this is the episode where everything changes. And obviously now I know that it's because the doctor is now permanently blind, or temp to permanently blind. But I was a little nervous because I was just like, okay, but wait, what if they actually did that? And then I had to riot and quit the show in episode 5 of this season.
I know. And then Tarbis would just be us and Connie like, I didn't watch it, fuck them. I didn't watch it. I ain't watching it ever again. Is Bill back yet? I ain't watching it. Which I've done. I have done that.
Is Bill back?
With television shows.
Is Bill back?
Yeah, that's me in Game
Bill
of
back?
Thrones.
No?
Is Bill back though? Is she back? Then no, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, but also it's the first time she's been properly in danger. Because obviously she's been in danger before, but this is the first time that she's felt like life or death. She basically died. She felt like she died.
First episode, bitch was following her to Australia and popping out of mirrors. What? Properly.
I'm not saying she hasn't.
She's properly in danger. Was she improperly in danger before, Connie?
What I mean,
it was just a scarier situation this time. That's what she's saying.
She came closer to actually dying than she has before.
Right. Girl came out the mirror, but she wasn't about to die.
Are we sure?
I mean, she was farther away from death in that episode than she was in this one.
Say that then. But I feel like she was
she was about to die, but she was more. She was 10 minutes from dying. She was 10 minutes from dying, whereas this time she was half a second from dying. And I think that's a big difference.
And she she thought that she died. She thought that it was happening because the doctor was just like, please trust me. It's gonna hurt, and I'll see you later. It's like, Doc, don't leave her. Don't do this.
Don't do that.
Why are you doing this?
I really did love, though, that they said, why didn't you tell us? And he was like, well, if I would have said it out loud, they would have heard. Because I was like, I would have been like, look here, mofo. You don't do that. If you got a plan, I got to know the plan. And then I was also thinking, she doesn't know this yet, but he could have done the little doctor mind meld, that little headbutt thing. And then she would have been like, all right, I'm cool. Okay.
She would have known.
Okay, then. You didn't have to say it out loud. There are other ways. Maybe you couldn't headbutt because of the whole oxygen thing. Maybe that was the problem, but...
Yeah.
I was like, I appreciate that you had a response for that, because I was very upset with the doctor for just being like, trust me.
And I'm surprised that they didn't really address it much. I guess because they had the reveal to get through, but I think that companions have been mad at him for less in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's
freaking
interesting
Clara,
that they didn't...
She got mad because he gave her some real power, and she was like, you will not ever do that again. You didn't almost die, though, but did you die? Well, I guess you did now. Never mind.
But that was on Clara, though, because she thought she was a doctor. She forgot she was human. Okay, so... Calling her mom...
Oh, my God.
I
was like, no, why are y'all doing this? And the montage on the screen.
And then the montage!
Oh,
fuck.
no.
I was like, y'all are the worst.
And then
Oh my god.
and then I asked myself, are we having fun? Is this fun?
But I feel like
No.
her mom's got to appear at some point. I appreciate, as someone who shares Bill's backstory, I appreciate the amount that they've, like, paid attention to her and, like, her feelings about her mother. But, like, is she gonna show up? Because they've shown her a lot now.
See,
and
Yeah.
I feel like the
I
amount that
kind
they've
of
shown
don't-
her seems like they're, like, leading up to, like, oh, maybe we'll meet her at some point. I can't tell.
The thing is like, part of me wants her to, part of me doesn't, because I
Right,
hate
exactly.
those episodes. And, like, because I remember when I was watching Doctor Who through the first time and Father's Day came up, like, and I
Right.
saw the preview for it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait, like, I'd been binging it. And then I saw that, and I was like, I'm not watching that today. I already know Rose is gonna be annoying and, like, do some shit that she shouldn't be doing. Like, so if they do go see the mom, I hope they go see her, like, well before she dies or something, and not, like, you know what I mean?
On the day of or whatever.
Yeah, because those kind of...
Did Bill say that how her mom died? Because I feel like it wasn't
No,
like
we
a
don't
car
know.
accident type of thing. Oh, we don't know? Okay.
I don't think we know.
yeah, we don't know.
Maybe I'm
'Cause
just
also,
getting her
like-
confused with Connie, and I'm just like, I thought it wasn't a, there's a day.
Right.
Um,
I can't. And then, like, we don't know anything about her dad or why he's not in the picture. And for the last, I think we've sort of talked about it, but I've seen, obviously, the previous companions have not had good parental writing. Like, they were very, like, distant in terms of, like, physically being disappeared from Amy's history. And then, I don't even remember, like, I remember the flashes and the leaf for Clara's parents, but I literally remember nothing else about
the
how they
leaf.
handled that.
They didn't
the
come
dumb
back,
leaf.
and that she didn't have parents, and then she did again.
It was confusing.
It was
It was very
confusing, and then
confusing.
part of the
Because
reason why I
remember
don't like Clara is because
he
none of
came
her
in
story makes
naked.
sense.
That was her uncle or something.
I thought that was her dad. I was confused. I
That
don't
was her
know.
dad?
But I do
know.
remember that happening.
Yeah, because he came in naked with his, like,
Yeah.
your suit, fake suit isn't working. Suit hologram, or whatever that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But they haven't done like parental writing well. Like, the companions haven't had parents basically in a very long time.
Since Martha.
Not since Donna. So I just wonder if they're trying to course correct, or if this is kind of matching the same, like, oh, they sort of have parents, but not really, and we'll never really address it, but here's a glimpse of them, and or whatever. So I don't know how I want them to do it. I just want them to do it well.
Yeah, I feel like the only person they did really well was Martha's family, because it was like they're around,
Donna.
but she's grown. No, because I think even Donna was like had a toxicer, that's not a word, a more toxic relationship with her parents, and she still lived at home.
But she
and she was really
granddad.
struggling. But she was still, like, she wasn't separate from them in the same way that, like, Martha had her own apartment and stuff, but she still was, like, the mediator and the peacekeeper of her family, and, like, there were still family obligations there. Whereas with Donna, it was very much like, I'm living with my parent, or with my mom and my granddad, and I feel a certain way about it. Like, Rose was 19, so, yeah, you still live at home, but Donna was obviously, like, an adult. So there's no way that they can, I personally, I don't think that there's any way that they can do a good job with Bill's mom in, like, it's gonna either be completely heartbreaking and, like, a great, like, it'll be well written, but heartbreaking and sad,
Obviously,
or it
yeah.
will not be. Like,
Right.
but those
Or
are
it'll
the
be
only
annoying.
options. Like, those are the
Yeah.
only options they have. And as of right now,
there's no
like,
in
I really
between.
I cannot do a heartbreaking sad I mean, actually, I would actually welcome it, to be honest. I would rather be sad and heartbroken
Then
than terrified. Yeah, because it's been 5 episodes of, like, terrified, so I would welcome weeping at this point. And, like, weeping and continuing to weep for sadness, because I cried in this episode, but then I kept crying because the sadness of her crying out for her mom then just became, it flipped back to terror of robots. And then she died. And then her head went limp. And y'all.
Yeah.
Stop it.
A roller coaster
Stop
of emotions.
Most of the emotion being terror.
So, my last two things...
can we also talk about... Sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
The question, so before she died the first time, and they put the helmet on, and she was like, what happens if I throw up in my helmet?
It's like,
I was like, that's a good question, Bill.
He was like,
you smart.
Colors and smells.
Okay, so no throwing up in the helmet.
She was like, all right, cool, so I won't do that. All right.
And my last two Bill Phil things were, why are we not talking about hair care under a helmet? Like, there have been 2 episodes now where she's put on a helmet for a submarine, whatever, and for a spacesuit. And as someone who has Bill's fro, just how is she getting it in there? Like, these are questions that I have. And like, what is
and then taking the helmet off and not having...
Right, like, it's not flat when she
hair.
takes it off. Like, I just have a lot of questions. Also, her lipstick was fly. I just had to say that because it was fly. I was just like, oh, snap, girl, you wearing nice lipstick. And then she, like, dried out because she was dehydrated because she kept losing oxygen, and then, you know, her lipstick faded. It wasn't that Everlast.
It wasn't Maybelline.
It wasn't Maybelline. I wasn't the queen of the collection
Maybelline
for CoverGirl.
Right. I don't even know if CoverGirl could last through a vacuum of space, though.
Yeah, that's the next test, makeup people. Your next test is, does your makeup last through the vacuum of space?
In space.
These are
in the vacuum of space. Yeah. So do you want to go to quotes from the TARDIS?
Yep.
So we did the space one. Space, the final frontier. Final because it wants to kill us. Because it does. Space wants to kill us, guys. Let's not go there.
Right.
We can stay right here.
Right. With no robots, either. The universe shows its true face when asking for help. We show ours by how we respond.
It's very much like the last few episodes where they've been talking about how, like, you know, how you treat the sort of poorest person is a mark of your humanity and stuff. So they've really been kind of hammering out these very deep, please care for other people. And I guess we have to remember that they were writing this during Brexit votes. Like, in the lead up to Brexit and the post-Brexit world. So I think some of that might be bleeding into the show, too. I hadn't thought about that until just now, but just the way that this stuff has been sort of mimicking how we are feeling in America right now, despite it having been written last year. I think that it's always interesting to kind of think about when things were written and why certain themes keep reappearing, especially when they reappear harder because America and Britain made the dumb mistakes they did. It's like they were trying to warn us, but then the episode don't air until after we did the thing. Or it's just like, but you couldn't. You need an actual time machine then. All right.
Right. And this is something that we're still going through. You know, like we just went through the French election, Europeans, just went through the French elections, and we have the German elections coming up. And it is a part of, and we just had some homeboys with tiki torches, with no hoods. At least, I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. They didn't feel the need to wear hoods as they protested the taking down of Confederate statues. Like that just happened this weekend. So it is very much like an ongoing conversation, and I like that it shows up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Fear keeps you fast. Fast is good.
Can we just talk about what a word that is for anxiety sufferers? Who are, like me, always scared?
That's funny, because I'm, like, not fast at all, so that's unfortunate for me.
You are! Like, in mind.
Caught.
Fast in mind, not just...
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think he just meant agility.
Just physically.
Because I was like... Because he was talking about running. I was like, nah, fam. I would have been dead already. I wouldn't have made it to the airlock.
Agree.
Like, don't take me to space where there's a distress call. I am no use.
Agree. Like, oh, there's a distress call. I got a paper.
I'm gonna just stay in the I'm gonna just stay in the TARDIS. There's a swimming pool up in here.
Yup. In the library. I'm all about that macaroon dispensary. I'm all about it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the library.
Do people ever hit you? Only when I'm talking. Which is
I love that.
Accurate.
I love that. I've got no Sonic, no TARDIS, about 10 minutes of oxygen left, and now I'm blind. Can you imagine how unbearable I'm going to be when I pull this off?
And the only reason he wasn't was because he was blind. It's the only reason why he wasn't unbearable about it.
Because he was
which is
still
like
blind.
kind of a genius like way to put that line in there and then to not pull it off, but like they knew that was going to be the end result, so they knew that he wasn't going to be unbearable about it. I just really love the writing of that in terms of like, oh snap, but then they couldn't because he's blind. Oh snap.
But also it's like very like self-reflective of the Doctor and like really like knowing himself, right? In a way that is kind of beautiful. Like
he like knows how
that's one thing
he is.
about this season of the Doctor, and the Doctor has been pretty like honest about who he is to the best of his ability, I think. You know, like, never trust me. I am a crazy man with the box. Like, you know, the Doctor lies. But he has been really honestly like, I say whatever the hell I want to. I do what I want.
Because he's old now.
Deal.
He's like 2,000 years old. That's what happens when you get old. Just like, whatevs. I'm over it.
But
I'm
he's
over
also
trying.
like, and I'm annoying. I'm annoying, but guess what?
You gonna love me anyway.
Like, yeah, I'm pompous, but guess what? If you're me, if you're the Doctor, you earn the right to be pompous. What you gonna say about it? What you gonna say?
Right. And it's not the same arrogance that 10 had, where 10 was just like...
10 was more godlike.
Yeah.
He was like, I mean, that was his whole theme. They had a whole ass allegory to him being God.
Yeah.
It was not subtle.
Not at all. 12 is more like, I'm the smartest dude in the room, or like, he's like, I'm the guy that like, I know I'm fine, and I'm gonna tell you about it. Like, that's more. He's that dude. He's like, yeah, I know you know. I know you looking. Hell, if I could look, I'd look too. I sometimes just stare in the mirror and look. Because I know.
But he can't
so I know
now
you know.
Blind. He can't now, he's
blind.
I'm just saying.
Cold world.
So
Cold world.
Cold.
He's locked us out of the subroutine. Oh, I thought I was tweeting.
They love to throw that little...
I know Twitter.
They love to throw that tweeting shade in there, like, constantly. They're always throwing the Twitter shade in there. It's just like,
that's because writers
don't know what that is.
Hate Twitter. Writers... There was this whole thing about, like, some writers really hate, like, live tweeting. They think it ruins the show.
That was dumb.
Which is, like, get over it.
I mean, I don't even like live tweeting, but it's more just because of my process of, like, taking in a show. But, like, and really, I don't like live tweeting when it's the first time I'm watching something. But, get over that shit.
I just don't like live tweeting because geo-blocking and time zones, and y'all East Coasters don't give a fuck. I just gotta get off Twitter for 3 hours. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Go. You're out enjoying your life. You're out enjoying your life. Go out and enjoy your life.
That's funny.
That's funny. I'm on my couch. I'm on my couch, but thank you for thinking that. Thinking that highly of me enjoying my life.
Get work done. You are off Twitter. You can get some work done. We've had this discussion before.
Okay.
That's funny too. That's also funny.
Okay. Are you out of your mind? Yes, but that's not a recent thing. Which again goes back to the Doctor being very honest with him.
Madman with a box.
Reflective, yeah.
So relax or die.
That again is like shout out to the anxiety warriors.
I really did think about like the whole thing with the breathing, yeah.
And then let's go into robot zombies. How? How do those two things? How do you say that, Nardole? What are you even saying? What are you even saying?
He don't have those same feelings. Cyborg,
so
whatever.
Relax or die. What? Did that even make sense?
And she tried her best, and then she still kind of died. Poor girl.
Twice.
Cold world.
Twice. Cold world. And then great, we rescued a racist, which, separate from what happens, I like that line because I feel like that is something that is happening in our world all of the time right now.
Fair. That's true.
And I could see myself being like, oh, I helped someone. And then that person being like, thanks, nigga. And I'm like, oh, damn.
Oh, my God.
It just seemed very timely.
Wow.
Completely separate from Doctor Who. It just seemed very relatable at this
Robin, you don't go outside.
moment in life.
So, you can check out our work at blackgirlscreate.org. Read Connie's writing at the New York Daily News. Follow us on Twitter at WeBlackandNerds. I'm at Ayana_Hollows. Robin's at Robin with a Y _Ravenclaw. And Connie's at Constar24. You can use the hashtag TARBIS with a B, not a D, to talk about Doctor Who type shenanigans. Join our Slack where we have a channel dedicated to conversations about Doctor Who.
Which are mostly just why, and I hate this show, and why, and ouch, and and I'm scared. But join that conversation. Join it.
You know?
That is true.
Maybe you thought this episode was fun. You can talk about
who are you? Who are you? If you thought this episode was fun, I need you to at me. I need you to at me because we have to talk. All right, thank you guys for listening. You can join us next week when we discuss episode 6, Extremists. It's the first of a set of 3-part run. Missy is back along with River's Notebook.
I did see River's Notebook.
I want River's Notebook, like, in my life.
I want River in my life. I want River and Bill together.
Yeah.
Asking questions and making the doctor all twitchy.
And Martha.
TARDIS
BSU! Mickey can come too. We can get Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey can come.
He and Martha were a thing. Danny Pink cannot come. He's not invited.
He's uninvited. He can't come.
He can't come.
He don't want to join anyway. He's shady.
And that's cool because we don't want him there.
We don't want him there. He can't come to the cookout.
Nope.
Space cookout. I'm done. That's it. It's a wrap.
The black girls have the box.